So we are back. We love when Frank Bisignano comes to visit us. He's run Social Security with the administration there and the CEO of the IRS, a powerful guy who didn't need this job. In fact, he did it as a favor to the country, the old-fashioned thing called service. And today is the 7th annual Slam the Scam Day. It's coming on March 5th, as you know. So each year, Americans lose hundreds of millions of dollars to fraudsters and their schemes, often impersonating government agencies. They might come in your email, you get all panicky, and you do what they say, and it turns out it's all a scam. It fuels criminal and trafficking networks, so we're going to focus on that, but also on the job, Frank, you've been able to do in just over a year, under a year, probably, because you had to have confirmation. Great to see you.
Good to be here. Always a pleasure for me.
So give everyone an idea of your background that led you to this moment and why you decided to take the job.
Well, first I grew up in a multi-generational immigrant household in Brooklyn, New York, which was, for me, the greatest place in the world. And I was fortunate to have a career that led me to great leaders. I worked for Sandy Weill, Jamie Dimon, Tony Terciano, Henry Kravitz, Scott Nuttall, all running large parts of J.P. Morgan, Chief Operating Officer. On 9/11, I was in Lower Manhattan as the Chief Administrative Officer with 16,000 people. 7 World Trade Center was our building. And I just was blessed in the bosses I had. And then, I get the opportunity to work for the President of the United States, and the blessing continues. So I was running a public company for 12 years, 48 quarters of earnings growth, an S&P 100 that served every American household, and I had an opportunity from the president to run Social Security for the country.
And a freedom not just to run it, but to change it.
To transform it. In the government, sometimes they use the phrase modernize. I use transformation. These are really technology agencies, technology businesses. If you look at Social Security, we have 330 million Americans with Social Security numbers. We're serving every one of them. Yes, we pay out over 70 million Americans and of 1.5, 1.6 trillion a year, but we serve every American household. And then you have, so what we've done there is we've taken call wait times down. Proudest moment is in a couple weeks, we had transformed the website. It had 29 hours of downtime. It had service hours. And today it's up every day, 24 hours a day. We have over 100 million digital users. We've been driving that while we're very dedicated to our field offices. And we've cut phone wait times from, in the last administration, there were 40 minutes on average, and they're single digits right now at peak season. All technology. I see the career leaders in the org so embraced in wanting this change. Now
So when you walked in there as the outside guy, they didn't resent you, push back and say, we have a way of doing things? Or
it took a while, but I've been through a lot of turnarounds. First Data was one of the great turnarounds. When I took the mortgage company during the crisis, that was a great turnaround.
2008? It was called First Data?
I got to 2000. It was First Data in 2013. I took that job, but when I took the mortgage business at J.P. Morgan Chase during the housing crisis, we turned it around and we restarted the housing market. And I ran the global transaction bank at Citigroup, which turned into its best-run business. I'm proud of the people that took it after me. And it's always about getting people to understand culture, being one team, one dream. We're doing it at IRS right now. The team calls it One IRS, right? And everybody's working for each other, with each other to get a better outcome. They said that's very hard with
civil servants. That's not the mindset. Am I wrong?
I think it requires a governance structure. Our governance structure looks like this for both orgs. A weekly staff meeting, normal, but maybe not normal for everybody. I never knew not having one in the beginning of the week. Once a month, an all-day management meeting to make sure everything we're doing is on track.
Wow, a whole day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
you
by
do
the way,
it on
I
Zoom?
learned that from Sandy Weil. I learned it from Jamie Dimon.
CEO of Citibank.
Yeah, when we were the biggest bank in the world and the best bank, and then JP Morgan was. So these are disciplines that those great leaders taught me that I've had the ability to bring into my own companies as a 12-year public company CEO and bring it to the government. We get together once a week and go through every key indicator with multiple levels of management. We have a risk meeting once a week to go through any risk-related items in what are the largest financial services businesses in the world, IRS and SSA.
So let's talk about some of the improvements you've made. When it comes to reimbursements, people are filing their taxes now, thinking about it, getting their paperwork together. If they get the April 15th as a deadline. But now you were just telling me it's a 8 or 9 day turnaround on your refund?
Yeah, what we're doing right now is, first of all, to frame it, during tax season, which started on time, when there were a lot of pundits that were questioning it because of staffing levels, because of all the change. But of course,
because Elon Musk came in there and doged it before you kind of got there, right?
It was definitely before I got there. But the fact of the matter is, as I like to say, nobody said the staffing level we had was the right staffing level. And right now we're delivering single digits on the phones for Americans, right? And we're getting, as I said, direct deposits, which is 90+% of the payments out within an average of 9 days. I think when you look at this tax season, 40% of the people have already filed. We have 56 million filings already. Tax season's viewed as 140 million. And what's really important is 43% of the filings have a Schedule 1A. What's the Schedule 1A? It's a deduction from the Working Families Tax Act. So think about that.
Which is a big, beautiful bill.
Big, beautiful bill. The number one claim deduction on that is overtime. You want to talk about working families tax cut. Working families love overtime, and you see it going on now. And also what to recognize is...
And they get to keep it.
Yes.
So
and
now
you
no taxes.
also have what probably will be the largest economic deduction, the benefit to seniors on Social Security.
So tell me about that, because you couldn't do it exactly like you wanted. He said, don't pay tax on Social Security. He couldn't do it exactly that way. So which way did he end up doing it?
Well, it ended up that it's up to $6,000 for an individual filer, up to $12,000 for a joint filer of a deduction. So, that's all money back in those seniors' pockets.
Wow.
As the president, what he delivered and what the Congress ultimately delivered was probably the most landmark legislation in tax. We have bigger refunds going out. We talked about $1,000 more on a refund. If you look at those who took that Schedule 1A, it's $775 right now, but our research and analytics group, and I sat with them the other day, have it going up to $1,000 because there's more returns coming in later.
Wow.
And so very, very powerful, and I'm so proud of the organization, our technology organization, our servicing organization, because they're delivering. We have a national taxpayer advocate who actually is confirmed and reports and they're advocating for taxpayers. I talked to her yesterday before the congressional hearing. I said, if I was to quote you, what would you say? Everything is going smoothly. And, any issue we see is an anomaly of an individual. It's really been amazing work by the group.
So it's going to be encouraging because we're going to know. We're going to know when you file your taxes, communication's great. What about the refunds? And we're going to see how this all goes, because the president says no one's felt the big, beautiful bill yet, because they really got to file their taxes first. And that's when
there's a double benefit here. Deductions are coming down. We made a lot of items. I say we liberally, led by the president, made a lot of items permanently, like a double standard deduction.
Right.
So in 26, right now, people are getting a bigger paycheck because of better deductions that occurred. A tax credit child tax credit. And then you see small businesses getting 199A pass-through benefit. All of this made permanent. And so we're seeing more employers feeling that they have more money to spend, and that means more employment, and it means better opportunities and a growth in America.
I hear you. So yesterday you were testifying. Was it the first time you testified on Capitol Hill or after your confirmation?
No, I had been to House and Ways Means for Social Security for a hearing, and then yesterday it was the IRS.
What was it like?
It's always kind of fun, you know. Three hours and 40 minutes. You know, I think Chairman Smith did a great job. People very enthused about the outcomes. I'd say on both sides of the aisle, it was well recognized that IRS is delivering. You know, the most powerful number I love is that 40% more online inquiries to us, meaning taxpayers self-serving. They could hit a button and say, "Where's my refund?" And they could get an update. And when we talk about slam the scam, the best offense we have is people knowing where their money is and being in control of it. So with direct deposit and the ability to see where your money is, we've created that 40+% is 40 million times. What's happened? Phone volume has gone down. People are able to serve themselves in the manner they operate every day.
Frank Bisignano is here. He's runs Social Security as well as the IRS. A few more minutes with him. I want to get some tips, if I can, Frank, on people listening out there on what scams to look for and how to know if it's really you, the Social Security, it's really the IRS. As opposed to some scammer out there, because these guys are getting better and better. Hey, we are back. Frank Bisignano is here. He's the Social Security Administrator and CEO of the IRS. And Frank, you got your hands full. First off, I didn't talk to you about the Trump accounts yet. So out of how much money is in it and how many people have already signed up for the Trump accounts?
Well, we have multiple things going on. We have 3 million dependents. We have 2 million forms 45, 47. It's growing every day. Remember, they don't start inception till July 4th, 26, right? So you have Michael Dell and his family, God bless them, putting over $6 billion. That means $250 for every person who has a Trump account. We have about 750,000 of newborns, and then the rest are dependents. It is so early and so powerful. It's an IRA opportunity of a lifetime for Americans. It's just in the infancy.
And 3 million people have signed up for it already for their kids.
Yes.
And could you be a grandparent and sign up for it?
Yes, you can. Okay. Yes.
So you could be a grandparent and say, I want to put it for my 3 grandchildren.
Exactly.
Okay. And
in my case, my 5.
And in the ideal world, and instead of people getting a gift for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, they say, I donated $200 to your account,
yes.
Right? Or more,
yeah.
Or less.
Yes.
So, and that grows.
Yep.
And you can't touch it till you're 18.
18. But a deep belief is we're going to teach financial discipline. We all know that, maybe a long time ago in my era, you had a passbook and you went to the bank and you may have been putting $5
Get there before 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and that taught many people financial discipline. The president's enactment of this is unparalleled, and the secretary's effort, Secretary Bessent, what he's doing is creating something that will be multi-generational.
I remember Kevin Hart had this talk, and he was trying to talk to kids in the inner city, and he's trying to teach them that they could be part of the economy and part of investment, because he said, for example, where do you shop? And he goes, where do you get that backpack? Well, I went to Walmart. I got that backpack. Okay. Do you want to buy a stock in Walmart? Yeah. Is that a good store? Yeah. Well, what would you want to buy a stock in it? Here's how to do it. Just to get people thinking like 100%. That, who don't have a dad like you, Frank, who did this for a living and maybe brought his friends home and they overheard it at the dinner table. So you have that. And the other thing to keep in mind, is there anything you could offer people? And I get this all the time, and I know very smart people have fallen for it. The fraud.
Oh.
Sometimes it might be from Social Security. Sometimes it might be from the IRS. You get scared. You answer the questions, and next thing you know, you're hacked.
Well, this is National Consumer Protection Week. And, across the government, led at SSA, it's Slam the Scam Day. Today is Slam the Scam Day. And our tips on this are quite simple. First and foremost, everybody should tell everybody to know the IRS or SSA is not going to threaten you, tell you something bad's going to happen if you don't hurry up and send us money, and a phone call's never going to ask for some personal identifiers. And the whole trick on the scammers is to put you in panic mode. You must do this now or something really bad's going to happen. And at that moment, you should just hang up the phone and report it. Right? That's Slam the Scam. We're partnering with the Inspector General, and we've had huge success. We want to protect our most vulnerable communities, right? That's where they go to, right? And in fact, we want everybody to always know you're never going to get a phone call from Social Security or IRS that says you have to hurry up and go send us this money, or we're shutting down your Social Security number.
I have an economic question for you.
Yes,
I
sir.
just read today, as well as JP Morgan Chase is doing, they're laying off a large number of people. And I'm wondering, the financial sector, these are all your friends, right? So what's going on there? Yet it seems to be a great time for bankers, but yet they should be adding to the roster. Is AI taking a bite of this?
Well, I think, look at, you probably saw Block said they were going to cut, that's the old Square, the payment company that I so happily competed against, half their workforce. Half their workforce. Now, they're saying
it's doing well.
AI,
but
there is AI coming in. But in fact, you'd have to say, were people just over-hiring over time? And AI is a potential crutch for exactly what to deal with. Yes, AI will bring the benefits. But, I've always said through my whole career, technology is the great enabler, but I've really never seen technology not drive to more opportunity. So thus, employment still continues.
You're not worried about, for people listening to us right now who are a very, college degree, should they worry about AI?
They should embrace it, figure out how to utilize it. I mean, I think, I love the technology sector for people coming out of school. I love the finance sector for people coming out of school. I think if you look at any chart, you'll see them always having explosive growth. And, historically good performers and good companies
or go to Social Security or IRS, because you got a great CEO. Frank Bisignano, thanks so much. Appreciate it.